my name is Ilona and today it's Tuesday, September 26, 2023, and I'm going to do it a little differently. So I will be looking at the coming week, the energies, and I already got the cards in my Dutch video, but in this video I'll be looking at Canada and the energy of Canada. And in the Dutch video I looked at the wolf in the Netherlands because that's quite an issue. So I'm going to do a small recap of what I found in my card reading in my Dutch video. Of course, you can always watch the Dutch video. I make sure there will be English subtitles as well. But interesting enough, the wolf came in around 2015 suddenly back in the Netherlands. And I have a feeling that it was purposely put back in nature, because now from the European Union you can assign areas where there is a wolf and there is like a, how do you say that? Oh, I've got the Dutch word in me, a roedel, which means a couple of wolves together, like a family of wolves, a pack. I think it's called a pack. So if they start a pack, you can change and resign that area as a Natura 2000. So Natura 2000. I think that would be the English name for it. So if they do that, they can have all these rules attached to it. Very interesting, which is exactly why this entire nitrogen mess with the farmers started, because farming around that area, a Natura 2000 area, they had to have lower nitrogen, and that's actually the entire thing with the farmers started because of that. And there's also the fact that the wolf is attacking sheep farmers, and there are a lot of sheep farmers, are like, well, we need to let go of our herd because they're just being attacked. Nothing can be done because they're protected. And because they're protected, you can't hunt them down. Very interesting, unless they are overly aggressive or they've got rabies or something like that. But otherwise you have to leave them alone. So if they're attacking your herd, there's not much you can do about that. So there are a lot of, unfortunately, animals killed by those wolves. The area suddenly is protected. And I also read on Wikipedia, just to have some insight in this area, if it can be resigned or how to say, another destination or designation, another designation. But that's almost impossible. It's almost impossible once it's been appointed to a certain area to get rid of it. So it fits immediately with all the climate, with, of course, this way of getting rid of the farmers. And, of course, ultimately they will get rid of the people surrounding that area or maybe even living in that area, because they will have all these rules and there's nothing people can do about that. Very sad. So I do believe that it's purposely sent out, the wolves, purposely done to create this mess in a way, and hoping to get rid of farmers because they want to have a tri-state area. They want to assign a completely different way of looking at, of course, certain parts in the Netherlands. Ultimately, they'll be doing it in other parts in the world as well. But this is very specific to the Netherlands. And of course, the entire disaster with the farmers that is going on, that is connected to the wolf and these areas they've assigned to, and suddenly they've got all these regulations that everyone around that or maybe near that area has to abide to, and there's not much you can do about that. But the card reading I've got is that it's feels right now it's still in like a stalemate. People don't know what to do about it, but ultimately in the future it will be changed back. I do believe that the European Union, because it comes from Brussels, will fall apart, and when those things, and I believe it's pretty much already fallen apart, but then it will be publicly falling apart. These rules will completely fall behind and we'll get a completely different harmony with nature. And it wouldn't surprise me if things will come out that these wolves are put out purposely, which of course completely changes everything. So I do believe things will come out. I've had the Ace of Swords and I had the Justice card. It was the last card for the future. That shows me justice will be served and the truth will come out. They are, the Ace of Swords has a sword, and of course justice also has a sword in his hand. And it's very about this truth coming out, and I think that's very important. Other things I also want to mention is that Daniel Andrews has resigned as Premier of Victoria. Labour's longest serving premier in the state made the announcement at a snap press conference on Tuesday. So he's quitting, and his nickname is, if I'm not mistaken, Commie Dan. That's of course not for nothing, but he's resigning. Very interesting. The other thing is that Hungary and of course Orban doesn't want to deal with the Ukraine right now. They're not going to support them. It has to do with a fight about languages, about the Hungarian language given to people that are living there in the Ukraine. Very interesting that it's coming out, especially after Poland, that it's the country is not going to send any more weapons. And now, of course, Hungary is like, yeah, we're not going to support this anymore. And he also made clear, Orban, that he's not going to support the Sweden joining NATO. So he's not going to hurry that up. That was kind of very easily, if you can read between the lines. Well, you don't even need to read between the lines. It's quite clear that not much is going to happen in that direction. So it's very interesting how things are just kind of falling apart. And now in this video, I want to take a look at, this is incredible. Leader of Canada's House of Commons apologizing for honoring a man who fought for, well, let's just say a group of people in Germany, a certain era, like the Second World War, and who later, of course, started something in the Ukraine. So they really were celebrating, let's say, the wrong side of so-called history. Of course, we don't really truly know what's going on with our history, but the thing that's publicly known, they were celebrating someone who shouldn't have been celebrated. So the speaker already of the parliament already apologized for that. And this morning I shared a clip of Castro Jr. saying sorry about what's going on, and that it had to do with Russia. Yeah, sure. That had to do with Russia. Some Russian propaganda. I'm not sure how he could have connected that, but that's what he was saying. It was just amazing to see. Then, of course, they've got this entire thing going on between India and Canada. India suspends visa services for Canadians in further decline in relationships. Announcements of security threats follows Castro Jr.'s claim India was involved in a certain death. So this is very interesting. So this is deteriorating for a while. I'm just going to see. This is from September 21st, this article. So this is just interesting to see. And I just wanted to see what the energy is right now of Canada and what is going on there with these so-called mistakes. So I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was purposely done. We're just going to see what the cards will have to say about that. Let's see. We have the sun for Canada. So this is the energy of Canada and what's going on right now. We've got the 7 of Cups for the central, as the central card. We have got the 10 of Wands in the past. We've got the Emperor underneath the 7 of Cups. And we have the 9 of Pentacles for the future. And we've got the 3 of Wands. So to me, this is purposely done to create confusion. And I have a feeling that the military, I'm talking about the white hats, are doing these things to show people there's a connection between those guys from the Second World War and the Ukraine, and really the support you're giving is actually to people you really don't want to support, but it needs to be brought out this way. Very interesting. So it seems like confusing is purposely done. I do believe the military is behind that. And I'm talking about the white hat part of the military, of course, if you see it differently. But this is what I'm getting. And this is just going to shine a light on those things. People need to start seeing everything. What they're going to do with that information is up to them. But this is very, very interesting to me. The sun is shining a light on that part. It's almost like a lot of people don't want to believe that really who they're supporting is not really the right people you're supporting in the Ukraine and what's going on there. But Canada is moving away towards an independent path, and it's kind of just wait and see. I think they've got more things in store for us where things are coming, in. So this is very, very interesting. This is very, very just wait and see. But Canada and the Canadian people are on their way to independence. They're not going to accept this anymore. But it's kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. I think more of these things are going to come out. Like you see, things are deteriorating purposely. You can see it, of course, in America as well. And in other countries around the world, here in the Netherlands, we see things with the politics and politicians. Belgium, Germany, everywhere around the world, this is happening. But now in Canada, this is purposely done, create confusion, but to shine light on certain aspects that people really need to know. And this will just open the way or lead the path to independence. And it's kind of a wait and see attitude for what is going to happen now. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if more like these things are going to come out. This is very, very interesting. So, yes, something is really happening there and it's necessary. We need to shine light on these things. People need to start connecting the dots. And of course, they need information for that to start connecting the dots. And of course, it's up to each and every one of us to connect the dots. There will always be people that do not want to see this. But this is just interesting that it suddenly came out and there was so much media attention for it. So I felt it was already planned this way and kind of got confirmation in my card reading for that it was purposely done. The other thing I want to look at is the week ahead. And of course, in this case, I've already pulled the cards in my Dutch video. So I've used my smaller deck. So I could use all the cards, of course, for my card reading for Canada. So the smaller deck, I've got the cards 10 of Pentacles. We have the Lover's card and the Knight of Cups. So for this coming week, these are the energy for this coming week. I have a feeling there will be more a feeling of stability. I don't think something very, very awful or strange is going to happen. It's more of a stable week, although things will be given to us. Will be shown, things are happening with Mr. B right now. I believe the entire procedure, they just started. I think they're coming together for that as well. It's Thursday or Tuesday, I'm not sure anymore. I've placed it on my Telegram channel, a message about that when it's starting, the procedure is starting. So at least they're going to talk about it, things like that. So these are interesting times. Things will be given so people can start making choices from their heart. It's very important as humanity that we really choose between, well, in essence, fear and trust and love. Where do we want to focus? I mentioned that yesterday in my video as well. Where do you want to focus your energy? Do you want to focus it on, how do you say this, the fear side of everything? You want to get caught in that, or you're going to heal that part if it comes up in you, so you can, choose from your heart, from believing that it will work out, because that is what you will create. So I do believe stability, but I also think financial things are going to come out this week. But I don't see anything very drastic happening. Of course, I could be wrong, but that's not the feeling I'm getting for this week. And the advice, we have the King of Wands, we've got the 2 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. Very important to step into our power, to follow our passion, not being dependent for outside things anymore, and really making our own choices. This is about healing. A lot of energies I feel have changed this past weekend. I can still feel that there's something happening in the energies. We are heading towards a full moon on the 29th of September again. So things are really happening, and it's about healing and accepting and being mild towards yourself, but also looking all the toxic things in our life and of course in ourselves. We can heal that, we can feel through that, we will step into our own power. And you have to realize, by thinking that if other people could change and if other people weren't so mean or cruel or awful, that then everything will change. You are the one drawing in those people. So if you're in a situation where you're meeting people that are awful to you, toxic to you, it's about you stepping up, stepping into your power and setting boundaries. Especially when you're highly sensitive, I've noticed that myself, that I wasn't really grounded. I'm working on my grounding, but for a long time I was kind of floating more above and I wasn't really connected fully. And then I would meet these people in a way pushing me to start setting boundaries because they were so awful and they were completely stepping over it. So really look at the people that you draw in and understand that it's up to you, that you decide how you're going to be treated. It's not up to someone else how they treat you. It's how you treat yourself and how you show other people how to treat yourself. Because if you truly respect yourself, love yourself, you most likely are not going to draw in people like this, because there will be no connection. If you're still in this situation where you are, faced with these people, change yourself, heal yourself, see what kind of toxic things you still have, what kind of convictions you still carry with you. You change that, you change everything about your life, and you will really truly start manifesting what you really want, why we're here. That is so important, that we ground ourselves and that we really put things, start working from that energy and start making choices based on our strength, our connection with God, our connection with our intuition. That's very important. I want to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.